Welcome back to episode 293 of the Bad Taste Video Podcast. I'm Mike. I'm here with Grizz. We're going to try our luck at organ. Oh, fuck, man. I fucked that one up. Organ harvesting this week. I fucking love that like spoken word intro, man. That gets me so pumped.
Heavy.
I like it. Gets me in the mood for a fucking greasy crime horror thriller. Something that I think, even though you will hear two opposite opinions on this movie, I think it is a fitting ending to our Japanese month. We will revisit the country of Japan again. We were already speaking about
must.
it.
That's a must.
We think after the whole biotherapy thing, we might do like a Japanese monster film type, do Kanten and do like Guzu and all that shit.
I'm thinking that idea a lot, man. I think that'd be fun.
That would be fucking awesome. I think a lot of those movies are very short, so it's funny how we're able to speak for like way longer than the movie actually is. You know what I mean? Like,
well, those are my specialty, man. I have a very short attention span, so if you can dial me into about 30 minutes, I am fucking A-okay.
Yeah, well, right I managed to slam you with an hour and fucking 40 minutes or something, whatever this one is.
A long one.
Yep, and that's going to be Organ from 1996.
This guy Fujiwara, correct?
Yes. Yes, she is the director of this film. She was in Tetsuo the Iron Man. Yes, Brendan Timmons brought that up. What's up, Alan Kintation? What's up, Jane Doe? What's up, Gloomy Vampire? Gloomy Vampire you will like next week's movie. But Organ is a very strange movie. According to IMDb, it's an hour and 50 minutes. I don't really know any of the backstory to this. I think this movie was longer originally. I think it's missing some stuff that would connect some of the plots, connect some of the characters. Some people just kind of appear and disappear, and you just kind of have to, fill in the blanks as you go, which with shot on video films, you should be pros at by now, right? That should not be a problem. You should be like water.
You're a salesman, bro. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Hey, man.
You're a fucking salesman, dude. You are getting it right now.
I know you did not really like this one. It wasn't your thing.
Well, that's not. I mean, I enjoyed a lot of aspects of this movie. I just thought this movie was so fucking confusing and filmed in such a shitty manner of really trying to tell a story. I think that's my qualm with it. But after you did say, look, I think that this is missing stuff, that I think that this was much longer. I mean, as gut-wrenching as that sounds for me to have to sit through more of this, I think that it is absolutely missing stuff. I think that you're probably right with that analysis of it, because just the absolute jumping around and scene cutting is so chaotic, and it's just very hard to follow at times, that it does absolutely lend itself to having large sections missing that might explain more of this.
Yeah, I feel like also to everybody that's listening at home, everybody that's watching right now, everybody that goes back and watches the live video, this film requires 2 viewings at minimum. The first one, you're probably going to be like, what the fuck did I just watch? The second one, you will say, okay, that's who that is. That's who this is. That's who that is. And on the third watch, you
watch them 7 times.
You
week,
will
so,
fucking start liking this film. It really is one of those ones that grows on you. But I also want to warn everybody that listens at home, like I warned Grizz, I'm the guy that watches the Dawn of the Dead cut that has every single piece of footage that they filmed in it, regardless if it fits or not. I'm the guy that watches the 5-hour Lord of the Rings cuts. I'm the guy that fucking just loves long ass movies because I feel like
punishment, dude.
Yeah, man. I love this shit. I do have a what is this? Japan Shock. Is that what it is? Japan Shock video copy. It does have English subtitles. I got this from somebody in Austria, I think, which is kind of funny. It is a PAL tape. This isn't a Japanese release. It's just, the box for it or whatnot. There is an original Japanese release. I don't think we got any sort of English release here.
Aren't those releases Dutch? The one that you have right there?
I have no idea, dude.
Because I have the what is it? The Entrails of a Virgin from the same distro. And
look, the Netherlands. Yeah.
It's from the Netherlands. That's what I thought.
Interesting. It's funny how they have English subtitles though. All right.
They know what's up. I mean, probably more people in the Netherlands speak English than they do Japanese. So they're like, Let's give it a shot.
Well, it's funny. Like you get things like Premutos or something. You get a Japanese version of that movie. It's in German, but it's got Japanese subtitles. So you're double fucked. You know what I mean? You don't even get you don't even get the clear video or something. It's just like, shit, this is useless to me. I have no idea what's going on. But Organ is a really interesting movie to me. It's not quite a straight horror film. It is a horror movie, but it's got like that, how Silence of the Lambs has like a crime element to it. How like Seven has like a crime element to it. This has something like that, only far lower budget. I believe I saw it was shot on 16 millimeter maybe. So you got to understand what you're getting. This isn't a major studio release or anything like that, but I feel like they really did put a lot of effort into this movie. They really did try to tell a story, which the premise itself is awesome. Like
I agree with that. Yeah, I said that to you too. Like it's actually a good setup. It's just the execution for me.
Yeah. And you know what? Maybe if they did, say you cut a half hour out of the movie, which you probably can, you could cut full people out of the film and it wouldn't do anything. But I feel like if you could sit through it that like second time after you kind of understand everything that went on and digest that first viewing pretty well, maybe do a little bit of reading, extracurricular reading. I think you will enjoy this film. I've already had people tell me that they really liked it. I saw a lot of negative reviews too, but I also feel like people are going from like Tetsuo the Iron Man, where that's like considered like a really legendary, like cyberpunk type film and body horror film to this. You're expecting that, but it's not really the same thing. There's certain things that you'll be like, oh yeah, that kind of like reminds me of it. Like there's a little bit of an influence, but it's definitely a completely different animal. It's a completely different type of film.
Going from what we just watched with like Biotherapy and A Garden Without Birds and stuff, I felt like, man, I wanted Biotherapy to be so much longer. I wanted that to be a full movie. And with this one, I'm just like, God damn, why couldn't this be 37 minutes? Like this is the one, in my opinion, that could fit that. Whereas like Biotherapy was so strong, it deserves a full length take on it. But even like this is a super fucking weird movie. It's got a great concept of this like organ harvesting thing, and it's also has this weird body horror aspect to it that is weird and shit on its own. But like for me, I'm more into like A Garden Without Birds kind of weird than I am like this aspect of things.
Like a more realistic type experience.
And for sure, it's just something that like, I don't know, this has a lot of sci-fi element to it that also kind of pulls me out at certain points.
Yeah, like a fucked up future aspect where like things are kind of like out of control with this shit, where like organ harvesting is real. 100% a real thing that goes on over there, and you know, there's some fucked up shit. But I feel like how it's portrayed in this film isn't quite how it would be.
Exaggerated. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But like you were saying about A Garden Without Birds and all that, I feel like the shot on video aspect adds to like the film, makes it more real because you're getting somebody's point of view from this like fucking night in this thing. Like just like how Blair Witch,
Yeah.
you know, it's so effective because it's shot how it would really have been shot.
You would see it. Yeah, for sure.
You know,
I agree with that.
you're running through the woods with a camcorder, not a 35 millimeter camera, not even a 16 millimeter camera, probably, unless it's the 70s and it's, or the early 80s. But, you know, I feel like it has its place. 16 millimeter on this kind of gives us more of a real film. You know what I mean? Like, if this was shot on video, I feel like it would be fucking, I feel like it would be even better. That aspect would make it like, yeah, but you know, everything's better shot on video. Everybody fucking knows that. I have a Synapse release. Brendan Timmons. All right. Yeah. All right. Grizz, do you want me to give a synopsis of this film?
You have seemed to have taken quite the liking to the film. I don't want to do it any disjustice, man. So you can take the lead on this one.
While two detectives are let me get in the Oregon mindset.
The Oregon zone.
Yeah. While two detectives are investigating an organ harvesting ring, they're eventually unsuccessful because one is captured and one is left for dead, and it's up to the one that's left for dead to find his partner, while also the partner's brother.
That's not it.
Is on the same hunt, and between the two of them, mayhem ensues. So this movie, I feel like, is also
There's a subplot, bro. That's not even the whole fucking thing.
one of
Like
the
there's a whole other movie.
one of the doctors of the organ harvesting ring is also a teacher who kills his students.
Okay, so this is
Who's
the thing that's like
also doing genetic experiments on people.
that part's actually kind of fun. But like it's so I think what makes it so confusing at times is just the cut to this other story out of nowhere. Where it's like I'm watching this movie about this fucking this ring of fucking organ dealers, these fucking police officers and shit, and all of a sudden I'm watching this fucking school fucking horror movie with this dude who's like destroying his fucking students and shit.
It like, well, first of all, they're just showing like the fucking background of him and the fucking woman with the eye patch. That's because they're brother and sister. So like you're just seeing what's going on like in their lives, I feel like. Because
like their day to day is just
well, he's like
kids and shit.
He's like a professor of some sort. He's a legitimate doctor, but like it almost turns into like one of those like Japanese pink films where like the girl's like drooling on herself and all that shit. But he's also got this like weird serial killer urge on the side, doing these genetic experiments. It is like a weird it's like a weird subplot. Yeah, like I feel like that could have been its own film in itself.
Right.
That could have been Organ 2, which apparently was gonna be a thing. I don't know if they ever made it or not, but that could have been the second film. I do enjoy though how they show like him and the sister and all that shit. Like they have this really strange
sister's Yoko, right? The fucking eye patch lady.
Yeah.
Their relationship is wild. For sure.
And it's all because of their fucked up parents. Now, before we get into this movie, I think we should show that first scene where the cops are busting into this fucking place, and you get a feeling of what you're going to watch for the next hour and 50 minutes. You get like an idea of the fucking greasiness. It's dark. And I know people say that that it's bad, that it's dark, but I feel like it adds to it, almost adds to the atmosphere. But I loved this scene because this motherfucker sees them starting to open up one of the cadavers, but the cadaver isn't a cadaver. This person's still alive.
Oh.
Stop. Put it back. The guy's like holding a spleen. Put it back. Everybody's like in shock. He's saying he was still alive. He was still alive. I told you to put it back. And you see like the medical incision and all that shit. He's like in shock. But they're like all wrestling over this dead body. And sitting there. He's dead now.
Well, they were pretty psyched that he was still alive because that just meant that it was worth more money. They were fresh organs.
Yeah,
They came out of a living cadaver instead of a dead guy.
They weren't going to waste that fucking thing. Now, the thing that I found pretty confusing in the beginning, the first time I watched it, was the one cop is like sitting in the car with the other cop, and then he like leaves and then goes. He's actually working undercover with the organ harvesting ring, who's being ran by like the Yakuza and all that shit. But the partner doesn't know, which I find fucking hilarious because he ends up like taping him up and throwing him in the car, but he leaves the key. That's how you know like something's up. But I really found that it was very confusing in the beginning because of this whole like the dude's changing his clothes. This guy is just kind of ditching this dude, going with them. Then he's getting beat up, but then he's getting attacked by this guy. It is pretty confusing.
There's twins in this movie that they don't even really fucking demonstrate that there's a twin character, and like the twin character does something completely different than his fucking twin does, and it's so fucking confusing. Like everything about this movie, you're just like, what the how did we fucking get to this point when we were just at this fucking point?
Well, I feel like with the twin thing, you could kind of like decipher after a while because they keep saying like, oh, the guy that looked like you and all that stuff. And he said like my brother a couple times, like I'm looking for my brother.
Yeah, he does mention his brother a few times for sure.
So I feel like they could have made it. Yeah, they could have made it a little bit more obvious, maybe. Right? I feel like it was kind of hidden in there, but he doesn't really show up for a while though. That guy, right? He's like really like halfway through the movie. But I kind of like how I'm not gonna say the ending yet. 'Cause we'll talk about that later. But like, it's kind of a downer ending. And I feel like you don't expect it because of the way that they portray, both of these characters. You don't expect what's going to happen, I feel like.
I don't expect most of what happens in this movie to fucking happen.
Yeah, so I think that's really fucking funny. So we have this organ harvesting ring, and you have this doctor that's also a fucking teacher. And he's doing like these weird experiments on people. He's killing these fucking schoolgirls and shit. But the cop that was actually abducted from that initial raid, they keep him in like a terrarium. And he's like mutating because of the fucking drugs that they're giving him and shit. What a fucking horrible like thing to think about.
Weird. Like I actually like I enjoy this aspect of this thing, this like weird terrarium man that they fucking make. It kind of reminds me of like a House of a Thousand Corpses kind of fucking thing where you got like this like weird humanoid mutant fucking, but it's into
some other fucking organic thing. It's
horrible. The terrarium man is wild as fuck, dude. I'll give him that.
So both his legs are amputated. I believe his arms are amputated, right? Like his hands are gone. And he's like, oh my God, he's like sitting in all these like plants. He's like green looking, but he's like just clinging to life. But he's been there for a while now. This will make you feel better. The doctor is going to give him some pain medication of some sort or some drug.
Good God.
I like, honestly, that's a nightmare. That's worse than being buried alive. You know what I mean?
I'd rather be dead. You don't want to be a fucking plant man in a terrarium with a doctor, dude. That sucks.
Yeah, that's some what was that from? Troll? Right? Troll 2.
Oh yeah, that Troll 2, right?
Right? Doesn't the kid turn into the tree?
Yeah. That's funny as fuck.
Now, as you could see from that clip, like this is turning into a body horror-esque movie, and it does go all out body horror by the end. And I feel like it's kind of funny because they don't really explain that aspect of the film too much, right?
That's another confusing aspect of it. Like, what the fuck is happening to some of these people, man?
Well,
like,
I think
It's full on melt zone in part of this fucking movie.
I think it's that medication that they're taking is like the shit that he's experimenting with is like fucking with the people. You know what I mean?
It's like, I wish they would just explain that more as to like what exactly the medication's purpose was, or like what it was like actually doing to people that was making them turn into these fucking mutants. Cause that was just like, I kept trying to piece it together. Like what, you know, I understand they're doing this drug or whatever like that, but like, what's the purpose of this? Like, why is it just to kill fucking people? Like to turn them into fucking, or is there like an actual medical thing that he's trying to accomplish with it? I couldn't like really piece that all together.
It seems like, well, you know, when you look at that opening dialogue that we get, he's talking about like regeneration. It seems like he's trying to make something, you know, he's obsessed with the cocoon and the fucking butterfly and the, you know, all that shit.
That's a whole fucking thing.
Dude, do you want to? We'll get into that in a little bit. Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. But I really find it pretty interesting how they decide to show somebody basically decomposing in this film, and I see that spoken a lot. I see people speak a lot about that. I don't know how the fuck what I'm saying anymore.
They be saying it, bro.
Yeah, that like. They really kind of didn't get what was going on. They just thought it was some sort of like toxic material or some shit. But our man's having these premonitions of his partner, and that's how he like knows. He's like, no, he's like still alive. But it's pretty fucking gruesome because he's all like mutated and melting and decomposing. And this is like another like fucking horrific vision that I would never want to have.
Great visual scene. I will absolutely say that.
This guy's like fucking going nuts. He's at the place that him and his partner were basically, you know, attacked. And this guy is like,
I love these fast cuts like that they're doing like back and forth between them and shit. Really, really cool effect.
Yeah, and they like show like a melting piece of meat basically with an eyeball hanging down from it. And he's basically hallucinating all this shit. Like he's going nuts because they did drug him, right? He got hit with the fucking drug during the raid. And unfortunately for him, like it starts making him kind of crazy, right? He starts losing it a bit as it goes on.
The whole raid scene too is just absolutely fucking wild. Like the chaos that ensues and like the confusion between confusion for me as a watcher and also as to like who's who and like what's happening in that moment and shit. It's true chaos filmed, man. Dude, like it's done really well.
What a cold as fuck guy. The doctor, when they're like, what should we do with them? And he's like, turn them into sausages. Yeah. Yeah, dude. And he's just like got dead eyes. Yeah, he looks cool as fuck with that mask on, with the COVID mask on. Yeah, he's ready,
Sub-Zero
man.
Fucking mask.
It's like really, he's the dude that's on the cover here. I think he's on most of the fucking artwork for this. No, the Japanese one, it's like the girl in the cocoon. But it's like a really cool like style choice for how he looks, right? Especially like in that disgusting fucking operating room, that like warehouse.
He stands out like a lot in that room just because the way he looks, the white coat, the fucking mask and stuff. He really like is a character that sets himself apart quite a bit in those scenes. It looks amazing.
Yeah, especially like with his hair too. He's got like this pompadour type look, right? And like compared to everybody else that he's fucking dealing with, like all these like greasy looking fucking dirty dudes, you know, they seem all strung out and like jittery and shit. He looks very like, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to say even like, I was thinking more like otherworldly, but like, just like you said, like Dr. Satan type shit. You know what I mean? Where this guy is this guy's living on a level that like you don't understand. You know what I mean? 100%. Like mentally and physically, like this dude
is like the next, you know, he's like a pure manifestation of evil, but it's just like also like in like this perfect human form that like really is different from everybody else in the room. Like you said, like his character is so strong looking and just even like his posture and like the way he speaks to everybody around him and stuff like that is just so fucking demanding, dude. It's done really
Yeah,
well.
he's like very direct in everything, and the only person he's really, I guess, like bowing down to is his sister, and she keeps,
Yoko.
yeah, she keeps calling him a pervert and shit, right? Like, man, their backstory is fucking wild. The mother tried to bite off his fucking dick when he was fucking younger. What a weird thing. And she ended up stabbing out the Yoko's eye. And like the dad, like, is some other like corrupt cop or something, because he's that dude at the end with the gray hair. That's his.
Yeah,
That's
I thought he
their
was
dad.
like a corrupt military figure of some kind, or like you said, cop or something for sure.
But like they have this fucking horrendous backstory, and that's why you see why like he's cold as fucking hell, and like she's just a straight killer. Like she don't give a shit. She looks like a character straight out of Kill Bill. You know what I mean? Like she
Yeah, she
looks,
does. Yeah,
and like the way she acts too, doesn't take any shit from anybody. Like
red
bossing all these
dress
dudes
is, like,
around. Yeah, like
very
dresses.
different than everybody else is wearing and shit.
Yeah, like everybody's in these dirty clothes and they're all sweaty and shit. And she's in like these nice fucking clothes and everything, walking through, bossing these dudes around. What a like awesome character, right? Like,
Yeah, that was the one character that stood out to me even more than the doctor was Yoko. Like her vibe, the fucking eye patch, the red dress, the whole just like really menacing and like demanding, aspect of her character. It's such a strong person throughout the film. I think more so than the doctor.
yeah, and it's kind of funny because the doctor is the one that's doing this terrible shit to people, right? Like he's fucking
just calling
experimenting,
shots,
straight
you
up
know?
murdering people. Yeah, like when they find like the bodies of the girls and stuff, like
Oh,
that's
dude.
like a Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer type thing, right? Like that how
Those
they're
are
just
kids too, man.
yeah they're supposed to I guess be high school age, right?
Yeah.
But it's like fucked up. We have a clip here, like the search party out like looking for them.
怪我してるのは子供ら二人か
Yeah, there's 2 kids hurt. She's torn apart. She's dead,
And the
officer.
third one.
These people
Almost
just
puking is a
dumping
great
bodies.
touch. I
Yeah.
love that.
Oh God, no. They're looking out like they're just like discarded in the woods. Don't ever tell
Let me
anyone
say,
about
don't
this.
ever tell anybody about this. That's such
Yeah,
a
the second
crazy
daughter of the
fucking-
mayor, and she's like ripped apart. Like, it's so funny. I always wonder, like these like women that are in these movies. It's like, how do you cast for that? Are these just people that worked on the film, and they're just like, hey, you gotta like lay down and just like we're gonna make you
Need a
look like,
body.
yeah. Or did they put out like a casting call where people like, yeah, hell yeah, I want to be in these movies. You
Carve me up.
By 1996, like you probably could find people that are into the genre that would do it, no problem. But I always found that really
That's
funny.
us. I'd fucking die on film in a heartbeat, bro.
Fuck yeah, man! I'm
be
still.
sweet.
Does the Unearthed film shit, like don't they film out in Pennsylvania somewhere, like in Western PA or something? Where are they?
You want a couple fucking yokels to kill? You're your boys right here.
Dude, we're in, man. We'll do that shit. Fuck yeah! I still got to
Oh, yeah.
get fucking Mark Polonia to put me in a movie. Well, you'd come down too, man. Shit, you're. I was gonna say you're probably closer, but I don't think that's the case.
Take a drive.
But this movie starts getting like weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder as it goes on. Right? It starts to get more and more crazy, just like fucking like Body Melt, how as the movie goes on, it starts getting more wild and wild. Very similar. Everything just starts breaking down. This organ harvesting ring starts basically turning on itself. Right? They start getting into a little bit of trouble with their Yakuza bosses, and that leads to some fucking crazy conflict also. Our doctor starts having some fucking wild hallucinations because
Yeah.
he's literally turning into like James Woods' Videodrome hole in the fucking gut right now. And he's got this disgusting mass like growing on him, and it's fucking otherworldly looking also.
Gnarly.
But we get a scene that looks, as you labeled it, very, very street trash like. We need like a goo alarm, right? Like
Oh, we
so-
do, because this is like a level 5, dude. This is great.
I love this one because it's like very
Probably my favorite scene in the movie, to be honest with you.
Fucking
Next,
dude.
next to there's another one that's real good too that we're gonna see here in a minute. But this one is like, this is an A fucking plus, man.
So he's like having this crazy hallucination, and like he sees all
Oh, that
these
looks
like
so good.
pustules on his body exploding. He looks like he's fucking turning into a plant creature. Also, dude is just losing it.
Dude,
Oh
ooze
my
is
god,
so
that
good.
goo,
I
that
love
goo is fucking gross.
Face is sticky with a toddler.
He's got
It's
those.
just such a good scene.
He's got those nice Macy's pants on too, right? Like those
Oh,
fucking
yes,
with the
slacks.
pleats. Nice, classic. It's like what we were wearing to like the fucking third grade concert. Be like going to the
Dude.
Christmas concert
Choir
wearing that
show.
shit. Yeah, they were bought like 2 sizes too big. You're gonna grow into them. You're gonna wear them for the next 2 Christmas concerts, all right?
I usually stained them that night. You never see me in those again.
Hawaiian Punch, 100%
That's right.
coverage. So as you can see, things start getting a little bit weirder, and they continue to get weirder because more people are having hallucinations. More people are getting more savage. Almost seems like people are getting far more aggressive as the movie goes along too,
There's a
right?
desperation at the end of the movie, man. Like everything and everybody seems very desperate for survival, just desperate to keep themselves like in the situation as long as they can. Like it is like anxiety ridden in a way. The level of just like paranoia and shit that takes over towards
Yeah.
the end of this movie.
Like everybody is fucked up at this point. Can we though, before we get into that, because we're gonna get into like the whole end of the film, can we talk about the weird cocoon scene? Can you? I want you to explain this, because or just
So, I mean,
describe it.
I mean, this is definitely the weirdest scene in the movie, but it's also, in my opinion, probably the coolest looking scene in the movie. And our doctor dude is like, it shows throughout the movie his obsession with butterflies and caterpillars, like larvae and stuff like that. And this is kind of like a hallucination or like a visual manifestation of his like desires. I feel like in a way, it's very strange, man. Like this woman taking a full metamorphosis out of this cocoon and having these gooey fucking caterpillar
Hentai tentacles.
come out of her stomach area. It is insanity.
Let's roll. Let's roll that
let's
weird
see
ass organ footage. Yeah, so it's a woman literally coming out of a caterpillar. She is like
Caterpillar,
no
like
longer
that.
human, completely human. She's got like a weird, I don't even know what the fuck's going on, but there's a caterpillar type tentacle coming out of her stomach. He is staring at the needle that he injected himself with. And this thing starts like
fucking creepy,
you know,
weird
that
tentacle
sensual
caterpillar.
music playing. I don't know, man. This is where you were starting to fucking. You were hitting rewind, watching that a couple times.
I did. I watched that 3 or 4 times, honestly.
What
I'm
a-
still gonna watch it again later. So
What a fucking weird ass scene. What do you think, man? Was that necessary or no?
I mean, no, but I'm so glad it was in the movie because there was like probably one of the first times in the movie where I was just like, oh shit, like I am all of a sudden super interested in what the fuck is going on because this is otherworldly and nothing that I expected. You know, it's not like anything else in this movie up until this point, and it's not like anything else in this movie after this.
Yeah.
This is such like a one-off scene that's just so weird and disgusting and like awesome in like every fucking way, dude.
It's
It was
so out
really caught me off guard in the best way possible watching this one.
And this was one of the schoolgirls that he abducted, that he ends up dumping
Yeah.
in the woods. Like this is such like a fucking odd scene. I just really felt like we had to point this out specifically because it was so strange and
Important.
just yeah, like the whole movie is so dark. It's so fucking sweaty and like humid looking. And all of a sudden you get this like bright white cloud fucking area, super, you know.
Cocoon, slimy.
Yeah, yeah,
Fucking-
so fucking strange. Such a contrast to everything else. But this movie, like we said, really starts taking a turn. There's a sequence where the Yakuza is confronting Yoko and one of her fucking henchmen, well, a couple of the henchmen, in this underground tunnel. And I really like this sequence because, of course, there's a samurai sword and like the dude is fucking nuts.
Dude, yeah.
But like, I don't know why more films don't do this, man. We need more fucking
Drive-by samuraiing.
drive-by samurai, man. That's what I'm talking about. So let me roll this because I wish this was our day to day, but unfortunately it isn't.
That is not.
So we see the motorcycle pulling up at the end of this tunnel, which is a very interesting, Yeah, so this dude gets slashed or stabbed in the back, and it just sprays blood like feet in the air.
The look of it, the sound of it, the spray is awesome.
This is like a very interesting, like, architectural feature, I guess, of Japan. Like, it's like this random fucking walkway / driveway.
No.
Yeah, it's so weird, but it's like such a good, I guess, setting for this confrontation between these people, because this dude is fucking nuts. He's basically saying he's cleaning up loose ends, and he like goes over to this dude who was already fucking slashed and like just fucking does the fucking down right into his chest or whatever with the samurai sword, and there's blood all over him. It's such a fucking awesome scene because he's wearing like fancy clothes. He's wearing like a beige colored, like beige pants and a white shirt, and it's fucking great.
And what I love about the scene is that he stabs the guy in the head, and the sword gets stuck in the guy's skull, and Yoko there is now pissed because he just fucking samurai'd her homie. And she's got a fucking knife, and like she's going over to like attack, take him on, and he's freaking out trying to get this fucking sword out of the guy's skull. That like whole sequence of like the sword being stuck was really, really fun. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and eventually I like how this Yakuza boss was just run down by the cop's brother. Just like crashes into him. He's like, fuck you, man. But the cop's brother has like two wild sequences towards the end of the film. So we're getting into the end game now, I guess you could say. He escapes, I guess, this bar that he walks into. That's a Yakuza hangout. And he's kind of got a bad rep there for something that he did to the bartender earlier in the film. He bit his nose, which I thought he bit his nose off. Yeah. It looked pretty fucking gnarly. But he's like escaping this place, and they pull a Deadbeat at Dawn here, man. Like the violent stabbing that goes on when he's leaving, like of those fucking guys. Like,
well, he finds this ice pick type thing as like, people hear the gunshots and they're distracted, so they run out of the bar to see what's going on, and he like ends up, copping this fucking ice pick and just works his way through people to get himself out of this bar.
So he just plunges this thing directly in the guy's sternum. It's fucking.
I love how he does it like a big guy. He like lands on the smaller guy, so the bartender's stuck now.
Yeah, he's stuck underneath the dude that he bit. He sticks it in his neck, right? Or is that his ear?
Yeah, dude. Either way, he's fucked.
This other guy's like,
just
what
walking
the fuck?
in.
Yeah, he just starts stabbing him up. Starts stabbing him in the back with the ice pick. Like he's all fucking frantic.
Okay.
I love how this dude just lost it by the end of the film.
Snaps.
Because eventually, our two main characters are accomplishing their task and taking down this whole organ dealing syndicate. But unfortunately, one of the two does not make it out alive. And Grizz, I did not expect the one that died to die. What about you?
Oh, I don't think, no, absolutely not. It was so chaotic throughout the whole thing that I didn't know what to expect, but this character had been like such an integral part of the whole thing that it definitely was not somebody I expected this to happen to by any means.
So the cop who was Abducted's brother finally gets to Yoko, the head of this, I guess, branch of the syndicate. And, Oh wait, no, this is
This is the father.
This is the father, yeah, who apparently is like revered by everybody. And oh my god, sorry.
That scene right there with the fucking heart plunge, that is so good.
So the father is saying this has to end. The cop's brother is dead. The only one that's still alive is the detective that was originally drugged, which is pretty amazing because he was the most fucked up out of everybody. But the dad shows up, and the sister and the brother brutally murder him. She's beating him with the gun, and he stabs him in the chest with a knife, and you get the Mortal Kombat view of the knife going in through the rib cage and hitting the heart. It's a practical effect too. Looks great. Awesome. Looks great.
And I have a hard time feeling bad for the dad too. You know, it's not like I feel bad for
him.
anybody in this movie. You know, there's no good guys. You know, they're really, it's one of those movies where like everybody is guilty of something in a way. I mean, I guess maybe not the one cop. I mean, I guess he was technically like pure of like judgment and stuff throughout it. Though it doesn't do him any good. But it's just like it really is just like that ending where you're just like, yeah, this is how this should all fucking end, with everybody completely fucked up.
So they find his partner, and he's in a hospital bed, and he's fucking fucked up looking. The dude, the one cop who's a piece of shit, is like, he looks like the dude from that Fly movie, which is fucked up to say. But the real downer part of this, after everything that this guy went through, lost his family, lost his job, to find him, he says, why did this happen to me and not you? Like, I would be like, fuck you, dude, at that point. Man? After all
I've been working my ass off for you, dude.
Yeah, like, what a fucking downer ending, right? Yeah. Like, why me and not you? Like,
but that's like the human fucking condition at its finest, man. Like, you know what? If you're in that situation, you would kind of have those feelings of like, why was it me that like got put in this situation out of the two of us? Like, you're always, you know, you would always kind of like have like those kind of negative thoughts if, you know, by some stupid luck, you know, you ended up with in like a negative situation that somebody else didn't, you know. I think that's kind of like human nature.
Well, I would say, yeah, that is like real human nature, where you say, why me, when it's bad, but when it's good, you don't say why me.
Like, well, yeah, for sure. But I think it's also part of human nature to have the wherewithal to be like, you know, understanding why me and having that, you know, emotion, but not projecting that onto somebody that's potentially trying to help you and be like, why the fuck not you instead of me? I think that's a little bit of like a twist in the fucking heart in comparison to just being like, oh, why is this happening to me? What do I, you know, what luck or whatever. But to be like, fuck this, why isn't it to you, motherfucker? Like, that's heartless shit, dude, for sure.
That's a brutal thing to hear, man. And what's even more 100%. Brutal is that like it's left ambiguous. He's not dead. He's still in that fucking bed. So like they're gonna let it kind of play out.
Shape too.
So, you know, one thing I want to say about like these Japanese films that I feel like we don't get in the American movies, and not just low budget shot on video films or whatever, but I feel like there's never like this film in the beginning has like, you know, that thing where he's talking about like why are we the way we are? You know what I mean? And like light returns to light, like regenerated. And then the thing at the end where the guy's like, why me, and all that. Then like in Shogun Assassin, where like the dude's like, sometimes I wish things are different, but you know, it's only, you know, a wish is only a wish. Like there's like all these like super heavy lines in these movies that have no business having these like heavy lines in them. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is with that?
There's a heavy lesson that's always like taught with these like out there fucking movies. It feels like in Japanese cinema, there's always like an underlying, you know, foreboding, you know, warning almost to people in situations where it's like, you know, you can wish for whatever you want, but a wish is as good as fucking shitting in one hand, man. Like, it's not going to do you any good. So
I like these like the existential like fucking questions in these fucking movies. Like, why me and not you? Like, wrong place, wrong time. We always talk about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, say you just didn't go on that trip, you wouldn't have gotten killed with all those teens at the camp. You know,
The Final Destination thing, dude. You know, it's exactly what it is.
Say you fucking stopped for dinner instead of continuing, you wouldn't have like got caught up in a trap somewhere and taken by the hillbilly family.
Shit all the time, dude.
Yeah,
I think about that like throughout my day when I'm like doing something. Like, man, if like if I get in a fucking something happens now, like I'm consciously always thinking about like what I'm doing to see like what is the moments leading up to like a fucking tragedy in my life, which is probably the wrong fucking way to be living your life.
Well, dude, like,
but I'm constantly fucking thinking about
there's
that.
like something really fucked up that happens where, like, say you like watch videos of like fucking car accidents and shit, right? You now have that shit in your brain, and when you're driving, you're actively scanning like the fucking Terminator and bringing up that memory of that fucking video
100%.
and being like, oh, this happened here. Like, I should probably not do that. I should probably do this. And obviously, you're not like actually hearing this go on, but like it is there. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's actually, it's not really like a bad thing.
For some reason, too, like, my Instagram algorithm has just like shown me nothing but like videos of people dying horrifically over the past like few months. I don't know,
That's
like
wild.
It's so weird that these videos are on Instagram, but like I'm constantly getting them in my feed, and I'm like a fucking sucker to like watch shocking things.
Well, you know,
it's really
it's really funny because the Hog at Jerry Meehan Jr. I think it's just or at Jerry Meehan. I don't know the fucking Hog. He was just telling me he had to fucking get off TikTok because he kept getting recommended videos of people saying goodbye to their pets before they're like being like fucking euthanized. He's like, I couldn't deal with it anymore. Like,
don't
like,
put that in my fucking brain.
Exactly.
God,
like, I don't need to see that shit. Like, he's like, I can watch all the cartel beheading videos fucking out there, but
well, that's what I'm getting. I mean, so I guess I'd rather be getting what I'm getting than what he would fucking got. Because
I need to do some research. You're gonna have to show me some of this stuff.
Oh, bro, I got you.
It's so great.
Save all that, baby.
Speaking of beheadings, it's time that we head over to the why. You know what? Wait. Give me your final thought on Oregon first. Give me your final thought first.
I mean, Oregon is definitely, it's confusing and stuff like we've talked about. I don't think that it's completely faulting the film or making it unwatchable. It has so many amazing elements to it as well, as far as the practical effects. The actual premise is a really good one, and it leads itself to scenes that are highly entertaining. If like I think like what Mike said, if you're able to get through it once and you have the balls to go back in it and give it another watch, you will find more to enjoy out of it the more times you understand it and stuff. It just can be a little confusing in the first round.
Yeah, I feel like even if you listen to this episode, I mean, obviously we bounced all over the place. Like we were kind of in fucking order, but it may answer a few questions that you may have going into it or going through it. So I feel like it's definitely worth it to watch it twice. It's a long watch, but really it will make sense by the second viewing. But Grizz, actually, before we get into the wide world of metal, next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@badtastevideo podcast. We will be covering the 1991 shot on video, right?
Shot on video, baby.
Low budget vampire film, Vampire Trailer Park. I have never seen this movie. It looks pretty fucking fun. You said it's a spoof, right? It's going to be like a horror comedy.
From what I'm taking away from it, it looks like a horror comedy spoof movie.
It. Hopefully, it's like Dead End or something like that.
That's kind of what I'm vibing on it, dude. So I think it's going to be a fun one for us. Something a little palate cleanser coming out of Japanese horror month. We've seen some pretty gnarly shit. This is going to be a little bit more lighthearted. It's going to be, I think, a really good time though, man. From what I've taken away so far from what I've watched of this is going to be. It's going to be right up our alley.
Nice. But with that, Grizz, let's head over to the wide world of metal. And what do we have this week?
Dude, we are talking about the band Torture Hammer.
What a name
what
for a band.
Fucking awesome name. Yeah,
love
dude.
That.
I found this on a whim today, and I was like, dude, this is their demo release from 2024. They just dropped this. It's called Dormant Horror. It's a 4-track demo, and it fucking crushes, man. Everything about it is just, if you asked me to like dial up a perfect fucking death metal sound, it would be what this fucking band is doing right now.
Yeah, if you were into the meat grinder stuff that I was doing, you're gonna like this. It's very similar, far better production value than I was doing at that time. But I really
This
I
dude,
I
dude,
dug this.
you can fucking be ripping this kind of shit. I truly believe that.
Dude,
From what
this-
you were doing with Meat Grinder, you could be
This
on
might
some
inspire me to do a 4-song demo.
Shit. Hope so. I hope it
And
does.
yeah, we're gonna. I got a good name for it still too. Yeah, I'll get you involved. Don't worry, man. But let's get a listen into this. Chris, which one do you want to do first?
Let's start with Shrieks from the Crypt. Great fucking name for a song. This is gonna give you a good idea of like how riff heavy this fucking band is. That artwork too.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
I love that production on this. It just feels gritty still.
Make it a little louder. Yeah, it's got a groove to it.
It's no thrills. There's no like extra production. Nothing added to it, like fucking drop basses and all that shit. It's like really fucking cut and fucking just simple death metal, dude, but done in such a great way. It's aggressive. The hooks, the riffs are super hooky, and they make you fucking like headbang and shit, man.
Got, like,
And
a
that's what
Fulci
like
vibe
to me you need.
at points.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's got like a groove to it. It's like modern sounding. You know, a modern sounding death metal band. Fucking great.
So
I like it.
According to Encyclopedia Metal, this band features one of the original vocalists for a band that I was very surprised by because it's a band that I am not fucking into at all. A band that I have continuously fucking picked on throughout my entire adult life. But apparently this dude, I believe his name is Peter. What the fuck is it? Peter Pollock. It's a great fucking name. He is an original vocalist for the band Rings of Saturn and their fucking jazzy little fucking alien metal that they sing. But that was like back in like 2009 and shit when he was in high school.
Yeah.
He's been in a bunch of other bands. He's in a band called Spy and some other stuff. But like to me, if this is the direction that this motherfucker is going in now, he's on the right track finally.
Yeah.
He's
I'm
fucking learned his deathcore lesson and has come to the right side of things.
I'm like not gonna fucking say I'm 100% certain, but I'm like 95% sure that I played with Rings of Saturn. So
I guarantee you did. Your time period?
I may have met this guy at some point.
I would not doubt it, dude, for sure.
That'd be pretty fucking funny. But what's the second song that we have here?
The second one is Body Broken, Brain Open. And what I love
yeah.
about this is it's heavy on the bass line on this riff. This is like the chorus of this song, I guess you would call it. But the way that the guitar and the bass are playing with each other here is just a lot of fucking fun.
Great production value. Great bass.
Oh, that fucking bass line is so good.
That is a sick bass line.
Yeah, into that blast too. It's so fucking awesome. I love how dry and punchy the fucking drum production is, man. Like that snare is so poppy and just so like there's no like extra wetness added to it and shit, dude. It sounds so crisp.
Yeah. And one thing I want to add is that the 4 songs equal about 9 minutes or so. So they're each pretty short. What's the third one? Was the longest one?
Yeah, I think the third one's like 4 minutes. I think
Yeah. They're all pretty much like a
around
minute
there.
something, minute 50
Perfect.
something. But I was really into this. I feel like even these 2 excerpts like don't do it justice to what it actually
just a
sounds
taste,
like.
man.
Yeah,
Really.
I think like I think people would actually dig this. From the people that have constantly said that they liked what we were listening to on here, what we were covering, I think you will dig this. I definitely think you should check them out. Is this a full band?
This is just a 2-piece.
Nice.
I don't know exactly like what they're each person does that doesn't list it out here, but it's this Peter Pollock dude and Mr. Sean Collins. Sean Collins has no other bands listed, so this might be his first thing. But I'm assuming Sean is probably doing the drumming, knowing the history that Peter has a guitar playing and vocals and shit like that. I'd assume he'd be doing that and things.
That's pretty
dude,
fucking.
2 guys
sick.
fucking ripping.
I love it.
I'm so stoked by that shit.
Did you hear the new Sanguisugabogg. I can't say that fucking name ever.
Yeah, Sanguisugabogg. Their
There we
new
go.
shit is fucking super good, dude. You know, it's I'm a fan of theirs. I'm not gonna say that I'm not a fan. It's just another one of those bands that I think gets a lot of attention with, you know, some mediocre riffage at times. That's all.
At times.
I think they got great shit too, man. They fucking kill it. They're original. Their artwork and everything is fantastic. Just a little boring for me at times, I guess.
There you go. There you go. Well, Grizz, where can you find this album?
This is on YouTube. It's I don't think they have it up pretty much anywhere else right now. Like I said, this just came out 2 weeks ago. It's just a demo. I think this band is really just emerging, you know, as anything over the past few weeks. So it'd be interesting to see where they take this.
Hey man, I'm all about it. I'm gonna keep tabs on this one. I really enjoy
Yeah, I
it.
try to find fucking some fresh shit, dude. I don't try to like cover
Fuck yeah, man.
the stuff everybody knows
Dude,
about.
I
What
got
fun is
something that I want to cover because we had to talk
Let's go.
about you starting to like more like metallic hardcore shit and all that stuff.
Good.
Dude, I know it may not be 100% what you're thinking of, but I want to cover an old Sworn Enemy album. Like
Let's do it next
before
week.
Yeah, but I'll send you one before
Send
they
it to
got
me.
famous and everything, before they had a music video and all that shit.
I
Like
could be missing out, dude. I don't even know.
you may
can
like
fucking
this
enlighten
shit.
me, baby.
Good gym music. It's good gym music,
Good.
dude.
Got me in now,
yeah,
so.
you'd be all about that life. All right, so Grizz, I think that just about wraps it up. R.I.P. Ole Anderson, man.
Oh,
That's
you gonna
another
make the joke?
horseman.
You gonna make the joke you made to me?
No.
We'll save that one.
Yeah, we'll save that. We'll save that one. But Grizz, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram at Kane_enabler.
And you can find me at Bad Taste Video, and you can find everything we do at www.badtastevideo.com. Every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we go live on our YouTube page, youtube.com/@badtastevideopodcast. Everything that you hear us play clip-wise, if you're listening to this via podcast app, you could see the actual clip, which is something that we didn't do in the past, but now we do, which is a great feature.
right.
And even if you don't want to listen to the whole thing on YouTube, you could come and just scrub through and you could see the clips if you're curious, if something makes us vomit or makes you think you might vomit. I'm surprised we have not gotten into trouble on here yet.
No, we're good, baby.
Yeah, we're
YouTube
rolling,
loves it.
man. We are fucking rolling. So
If you
next-
haven't yet, you can come on here and check out a bunch of our short clips that we've put up. A bunch of cool, just, you know, straight quick recommendations, things you might not have heard of before, some cool underground movies, a lot of shot on video stuff. So if you're just kind of bored, you're looking for a quick movie recommendation, our short section has a ton of stuff that you can quickly go through and find something fun.
Yeah, we also have a ton of fucking live episodes in the live section.
Oh, man.
We've been doing it for quite some time now, and we're only getting better.
By.
Fuck yeah, man. So Grizz, next week, Vampire Trailer Park from 1991. You can watch it on YouTube if you want to watch ahead. Anything else? You got anything else, man?
Dude, I'm excited for that. It's going to be a good week. It's going to be a good next Tuesday when we get into the trailer park, my home away from home. So I am
There we
I'm
go.
looking forward to it, man.
There we go. We will see you next week. Goodbye.